Hi, Young Turks fans. I'm here with Mark Van Landuit. If you can see right here, right inside the media tent at the DNC. They walked out of the convention, you can see. And then check out the cops. So there's the delegates have walked out right after they officially nominated Hillary Rodham Clinton, and they don't feel like they're being represented inside. That's why they're over here in the media, and they're talking that they're the future of the party and Hillary Clinton is the past. Here they are. So anything you want to say? It's Mark Van Landuit. He's a delegate from California. Go ahead. What would you like to say?
So we delegates, we have walked out in a bit of no confidence in the process of the election, this election, and in the choosing of the nomination of Hillary Clinton. And so these delegates, Democratic delegates, are saying they have no confidence in how this election process was done and how the superdelegates made their choice in choosing Hillary Clinton and not representing the will of the people. They feel they were treated very unfairly in this convention. They were not treated with respect. The one half of the Democratic Party that supported Bernie Sanders, and they are here to show that they believe that Bernie Sanders is still the better candidate and will still be the better candidate in November in the general election. And this is the future of the Democratic Party. These are the people that will control this party, control the politics of this country in 4 years. You will see. You will see.
How many delegates would you say walked out?
Can't say for sure, but around 350. About 350.
Wow, there you go. Let's take a look.
Like you handle the signs, I'm like, really? Because I've seen a lot of signs in this election. I think you have a problem with this one. And then she's telling me that I didn't actually say that's her, but that's what I actually think.
Okay, so people are sitting down, cops are starting to come in. See the cop? So the cops are starting to filter in, and it looks like something will be happening soon.
I came here because I was going to come here anyway, but this happened right before.
Notice how quiet they are.
And it's very quiet. It's the quietest protest I've ever been involved in or been around. This is unbelievable how quiet everybody is.
Scripted, orchestrated.
So the big story, if you're just tuning in, Bernie Sanders delegates just walked off the floor after Hillary Clinton was officially nominated by Bernie Sanders. And they're here to make a statement that they don't feel represented inside the party or inside the convention center, and that's why they're here in the media center. Here's the guy right here.
We are revolutionaries, and we are warriors for democracy. And our voices have been heard. And I am thrilled for being on the I saw a lot of people follow us, but okay, that's fine.
So we're doing good. We got a lot of viewers right now.
Right.
Anything else you want to say? Oh, here comes a gentleman. That's the guy I want to talk to.
Sir.
Can I he's around. He's giving orders. Let's see what he says. He's giving some orders to people.
I prefer to have everyone speak to the spokesperson, but they're all individuals and I cannot prove. Well, everyone is interviewing. Yeah, understandable.
How you doing with the Young Turks?
Hey,
And
how you doing?
How you doing? Can you tell me? Everybody walked out, and you came over to the media center. Why would you say?
I can only speak. We're waiting for our spokesperson. But
Okay.
This is about being represented and having our voices represented, and working together as a unified delegation under Bernie Sanders to lead the progressive causes of this country.
Who's the spokesperson?
Our spokesperson is Shyla Nelson. She's waiting to be let in right now by the police.
Oh, okay. So they're blocking her, maybe,
They're currently waiting for permission to let one more person in.
and that's her.
That's her.
Okay.
When
And
she
what
gets in here, she'll have a press release for everyone.
Okay. And can you tell me what your name is?
My name is Jeffrey Ide from North Dakota, Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay. Thanks for talking with us. All right. So there you go. We're waiting for the official spokesperson for the pro-Bernie delegation that just walked out to come over.
These delegates are doing everything they can to make sure that Donald Trump does not get into the White House.
So how would you say that this is helping make sure Donald Trump doesn't get in the White House? You want Bernie because he's a stronger candidate?
Stronger candidate. These people are dedicated, even despite the numbers, even despite the process. They're committed. This is how committed they are. They'll stay committed.
No, I don't.
And it looks.
I didn't see Hillary people doing this in 2008.
Oh, I did not. That's a good point. Maybe that's because she was. They'll say because she was more grown up, and she didn't complain like a. Right? That's what they're gonna say, right?
They might. They might.
What would you say to that?
I'd say the better candidate was chosen in that case.
Barack Obama?
Barack Obama.
Okay. Hillary is definitely a flawed candidate. She's weak. We know that. Now here comes some. I'm going to get up on this little riser. Hey, Jen. So there goes Jenk right there.
Yeah, with the Inquirer.
With Facebook Live, Jenk. What did you hear?
Okay. Jordan's outside right now, and he got an interview with one of the organizers, and so they're protesting that the superdelegates, for example, and they're saying that it's a silent protest, and they're not bothering anybody. They're not causing any ruckus. It's not physical in that sense. It's silent, and so it is to protest in essence the rig system.
I want to tell you what happened.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I'm an Illinois delegate.
Okay.
We're on the floor, and one of our fellow protesters, he was protesting, one of our fellow delegates held up this sign.
And that sign says, remove all staff.
Exposed on WikiLeaks.
Okay, he held this up in one of the pre-printed, no TPP signs, and shortly after, this worker came and was nicely talking to him about taking away, but she started wanting to snatch them away. And I told him, you pass those on down the row, and that's what he did. So then she got into it with me, and I said, what's this based on? She said, oh, there are rules against holding signs. I'm like, really? Because I've seen a lot of signs around this convention center, and we've been holding them up every night. So what's this about? I said, is this during roll call? Because that I understand, be respectful, roll call. No, just no signs. So she's like, you're going to get your credentials stripped. So let her try.
Oh, so they're threatening to take away the delegates who walked out.
No walkout. This was before the walkout.
Okay.
She's threatening to take my credentials away because I'm challenging her on what must be a bogus rule.
Okay.
I think it was this sign she didn't like, don't you?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yep.
So did you also walk out because of the...
I had this plan too.
Okay.
But this happened right before. So there you go. Double reasons to walk out and talk to the media.
Okay, and your name is?
Laura Sobransky.
Thank you.
What happened right before?
Okay, so there's another...
One of our delegates was-
So there's some more free speech being suppressed. Let's see what's happening. A lot of cops here now. Let me get up on the riser, see what's going on.
They're as quiet as the protesters.
They're very quiet. Everybody's quiet in here. This is the quietest protest I've ever been to.
People are still waiting to come in.
Oh, there's a bunch of people. Oh, so they're not letting. So they stopped letting people in. It looks like I'm gonna walk down there, see what's happening where they're not letting people in. So here we are, the men in blue. This is a very quiet protest. Very quiet. Very quiet. Can I speak in? Thank you. It's a very quiet protest. Cops everywhere. Cops are being. Everyone's quiet. The protesters are quiet. The cops are quiet. The news reporters are quiet. Everybody's quiet. So look at all the people. Let's walk this way. Look at this. Wow, this is really something. Look at the cops outside. Hey, thanks for doing this. Got a little fucking excitement into this night. So it's not boring anymore. It's not a
resistance to the tragedy.
There's some resistance. Hey, look at the cops.
Yeah.
There they are. So let me go ahead and turn this around.
And I promise that he is itching to get on the campaign trail and elect Hillary Clinton. This last year has been a remarkable one in our family. Almost exactly a year ago, my grandfather was diagnosed with cancer. He approached this diagnosis with the exact faith, dignity, and strength that we've come to expect. He never stopped working for health and peace around the world, and he never stopped teaching Sunday school at home in Plains. Today, thanks to the miracles of modern science and the power of
These are delegates of the Democratic Party. These are Democratic delegates.
So these are all delegates of the Democratic Party, and they're out here. They're not letting any more into the media center. They've stopped. The cops have stopped letting people.
My grandparents demonstrate that there is a strength in love, humility, and service that no amount of anger or pride or salesmanship can match. That principled strength
So this.
is what drives the work that they do.
So I would say, as Mark just said, these are actual patriots. These are people who actually do give a shit about their country and not about getting head personally. So this is great. So the cops are not letting people in. Let's get a little bit closer over here.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Yeah, I'll take a picture this way. Sorry.
Oh. So they're not allowing them in, so they're holding stuff up to the windows. Wow, look at this. Wow, so they're not letting people in.
Saying what they want to say inside the meeting.
Can we get out? Oh, okay, it's locked down. Locked down. What are receptions at tonight?
This is the quietest thing I've ever been. It's the quietest protest I've ever been a part. Very quiet protest. Everybody's calm. Sorry. Everybody's very calm. Nobody seems to be freaking out. Everybody very calm. Cops are calm. Protesters are quiet. It's a quiet protest.
I'll just warm up because
So I'd like to get out there and interview some of the delegates who can't come in, but they won't let anybody out. They won't let anybody in. So, okay, where is he?
This way. Go that way.
We're going to find Jank. Jank's looking for me.
Yes.
Jank!
There he is. Jane!
Jank!
Okay, hey guys, how you doing? I'm going to cover the protest here. Who are you? So you're with Hillary Clinton, right? I'm not a protester, so just calm down, okay? I'm covering you. Are you angry at me?
I don't think people.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Fascinating. Okay, here guys, I'm going to flip this so that we can see what's going on here.
Officers are allowing people to leave, and they are not in any but is see right here.
So guys, there's a number of protesters that are inside what is this media tent here. See, along the lines here is different media organizations. We're just over the top of those two things you're seeing. In fact, the gray stuff at the back, that's our studio. So they've come in here. Let me walk around here. And of course, you've got police, and then you've got the rest of the protesters outside, and no one is allowed to come in, or, well, you can leave. You just can't come back in. And a lot of the protesters are on the other side. That's the shot that Jordan was showing you. And one of the representatives of the protest is outside, and she's talking to the press there. Now we'll talk to some of the protesters themselves. And meanwhile, Chuck Schumer. How is this for appropriate? Chuck Schumer talking while there's the protest. This is exactly one of the guys they're protesting. Chuck Schumer, who is Wall Street's best friend in the Senate. Okay. They're calling this a silent protest. That's why, yes, some of the protesters are explaining why this is happening, but others are not talking and have tape around their mouths. Okay. So this is really the core of the protest right here. They've taken a seat and they're occupying the media center, and some of them have put obviously what is a symbolic gag around their mouths. West Virginia, Bernie won all 55 counties. Okay. There's a number of different signs, obviously some Bernie signs. Support Palestinian human rights. There was a cause that had a caucus that earlier on Monday. DNC lost most of us for good is a sign obviously there. A vote for Hillary is a vote for Trump. Well, that's an interesting sign. And so Bernie the most good as opposed to the lesser of two evils. Part of the reason I'm showing you the signs, guys, is that we heard from an earlier on this stream from one of the delegates who was complaining that they were thrown out for signs and they were threatening to strip their credentials for the signs, and that's not a good idea. And so now here they are exhibiting their signs. Okay, so let me go talk to another protester here. Okay, as you can see, there's almost as much press as there are protesters, and there are plenty of both. And so it's a little hard sometimes to navigate through all this. And that's exactly why they're doing the protest here, because these protests have happened outside, and the press hasn't really given a damn. So now that they brought it right next to the press, hey, everybody's having fun, and they're finally covering it. Okay, did you want to say something about the protest? Well, first, what's your name?
My name's Richard. I'm a national delegate from Washington State representing Bernie Sanders.
Okay.
And, something that the DNC and the whole frame of this that people aren't looking at there is there's a whole lot of people who just barely vote Democrat. And what happens is the DNC is taking those votes for granted. They figure we got this many number of people voting Democrats, and they don't understand that with each one of these elections, there's the people who always vote Democrat, and then this whole bunch of people that just kind of say, well, this time I'll vote for Democrat. And I don't think the DNC realizes what a big percentage of the votes they get are I guess I'll just do it this time. And Bernie brought a lot of those people into the mix and made them excited again in ways that they did a little bit with Obama, but now doubly so now because of the issues and the policies and everything that people want to worry about, stopping endless war and fracking and get rid of TPP and have college tuition for free and more, a single payer health care, all these kind of issues. And even a nudge towards those issues makes all these people get involved again. And so they come in and say, okay, I guess I can deal with this. And here they all come. And the DNC, as you've seen with the email dump the other day, stuff that we already kind of could tell was going on, is that it's just too tilted. And now people are feeling like, what's the point? And there's a real serious possibility that the DNC is going to lose a big chunk of voters that they presume are going to vote for whichever Democrat they put forward.
So, but let me ask you this. Do you know what the specific point of this protest is? What is it that they would like?
To make sure that the DNC and the powers that be on this understand that there's a whole bunch of people who are not feeling heard. They're feeling sidelined. They're feeling like they came and offered an olive branch and offered their involvement and offered their participation, and that the DNC's just not getting it. A couple things got put into the platform, but that's non-binding. We want to see some actual change actually done, and a lot of us, our hopes were riding on Bernie for that.
And what is your, do you know who's putting this together?
Oh, actually there was it was organic. A lot of people, it's more grassroots than you've ever believed. A lot of people from a lot of different sources that were among the 1,850 Bernie delegates, that we were all communicating on all sorts of different channels, Facebook groups and Slack channels and emails and phone and meeting in person and talking about a lot of things, and some consensus formed on some things not. But this is just one of those things where, obviously, as you can see, this isn't just a coincidence. Everybody felt the same way at the same time, and so they acted.
What brings you here?
So my name's Ryan. I'm from Washington State. I'm a national delegate, just like Richard. So what upset me the most is during the roll call for Washington State, we were all gathered there, and all we wanted to do was put up some Bernie signs and just have our minute on the spotlight and represent that Bernie won the state for 72%. And when the roll call came, our state representatives took out a 8-foot banner to block us all, to block all the Washington State delegates. Can you believe that?
And what did the banner say?
It was some pro-Hillary banner. I didn't even say. I was behind it because they put it in front of us.
So I'm hearing this from a lot of delegates and a lot of Bernie Sanders supporters that their signs removed, blocked, etc.
I didn't get a sign removed until the roll call. They were physically trying to put their signs in front of ours, and we weren't trying to do that.
Okay. That's so silly.
It is.
Why not just let them show their signs?
It's crazy.
But do you really think they wouldn't have done this even if they hadn't blocked their signs?
I don't know, man.
This isn't just about the signs.
It's not just about the signs.
Let me ask you personally, would you have come out either way, or was that a precipitating event?
I was actually not planning on walking out, but just the way that I was treated, all I wanted to do was represent Bernie in that one shot, you know.
Right.
And they did that. That was totally out of the blue.
All right, let me talk to more other people here. Thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you for your perspective. Hey, can I talk to you for a second? Or no? You can't? Okay, I got you. Okay. Let me find others to talk to. Are you one of the protesters?
Yes, I am.
Okay, and you're a delegate. Are you allowed to talk?
Do I need permission from anybody?
No, not as far as I know. Okay, great. What's your name then?
My name is Aruna Seth,
And where are you from?
North Dakota delegate.
You're a North Dakota delegate.
My husband and I, he's sitting over there. Vinod?
Okay, I see it. So now you're not what a lot of Americans would consider a stereotypical protester. What brings you here? What motivated you enough to come and sit down here and risk a lot of things? Risk being removed, etc. And there's your husband.
James, my husband. Oh, my husband and I.
Okay, I'm getting a hug. Okay.
Thank you. Most of us come from a land of Gandhi, and we are first generation immigrants. And this is our first. This is our first time being Bernie delegate. And so
first time being the national delegate for any political party. She's been talking for the last 30 minutes, so I'll take over. How can I answer anything for you?
Okay, so what motivated you guys to come out here and take this step of actually protesting?
The absence of a true seat at the table that has been denied to Bernie Sanders for so long. They may have given a seat, but one leg was cut off. So it was always a problem. And that is the WikiLeaks leak from this weekend was the last straw. I think that the people were denied a true voice in this election. And so I think the motivation kept building. I was so surprised the day before when Bernie was speaking. I mean, Monday morning, the days are running together. Monday afternoon when he spoke, and 1,900 of us booed his use of the word Hillary. We didn't boo him, we love him. But we booed the fact that he mentioned the word Hillary in our midst. So that anger has been simmering. The media thought we had become quiet.
Apparently people are standing. Okay. The protesters are standing. Okay, so but before we run out of time, I want to ask you, so what is it that you guys want out of this protest?
So I take my cue from Gandhi. If I'm not a leader needs followers. I'm following in this protest. I'm willing to follow, and I trust the leaders of this movement to do what is right for America.
Okay. And
I have
just
no
out of
personal-
curiosity, what do you guys do back at home?
I'm an infectious disease physician.
That's amazing. Wait, don't
Bismarck,
give me your whole address.
It doesn't matter. If they look up my name, there's only one last name with that name in North Dakota. So.
Well, that's
You know,
amazing. Okay. All right, well, thank you guys. Thank you for talking to us.
And
telling us.
she's the former school board president of the Bismarck School District.
Oh, is that right?
Hey, we don't
Well,
mess
you're
around.
educating here to some degree as well.
Thank you. I'm learning.
You
a
have
lot.
been for the last so many.
I've been learning.
You have
We
been.
watch you and we learn you, and our children love you. Thank you for being part of this movement.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're proud of you.
Taking a picture with you, dude.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
yes,
getting a
yes.
selfie here. Okay. Selfies.
Oh,
in
you
the
got to
middle
give
of
us a
protest.
dual selfie. Come on.
Okay, all right.
Let's hug it.
This is fascinating here. Go
Okay.
ahead.
Can somebody do it?
All right, thank you guys.
Miss India.
Is
Just
that-
kidding. She
okay.
could have been if we had finally met her.
All right, that's great. Okay, apparently the protesters are going over here. PPP protest sign. By the way, that was very meta of me to take a selfie in the middle of the protest. Okay. Love Trump's hate. Okay, that is a sanctioned sign. People are allowed to have that. Bernie wins. Love or Trump, Bernie wins. FDR Park. Okay, some other protests going on there or something?
I got something I want to say.
Okay, all right. If willing to talk to the Young Turks, I like that. Solidarity right there. Oligarchy, TPP against it. Okay.
1 second.
American flag, America. We like it.
Trump's gonna
Push it,
win.
boys.
Trump's gonna win now that the WikiLeaks came out.
Okay.
Ready? We're ready. Okay.
Okay.
Behold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles or organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness.
Okay. I think I've heard that somewhere before.
The Declaration of Independence.
I'm with you. And so, now, does that mean you guys are going to abolish the government or fight against it? And, okay, now back to silence. Okay, I respect that. I respect it. Okay. All right, a lot of the protesters are here. There they are. Let's see all your signs. Your signs are allowed on the Young Turks. Future to believe in, that was obviously Bernie Sanders supporters.
They were ripping the
Bernie's slogan, Bernie brings unity. And we got a Bernie or bust. Hashtag damn exit. Say that again.
Some of us were told as Democrats that we could have our credentials taken away if we held up signs. So, you know, they try to... I don't think we lose our First Amendment rights when we go into a convention, do we?
They took our signs.
Did they? Well, I didn't bring it.
Yeah, they took our homemade Bernie signs, and what was really interesting is we had a big kind of come to Jesus moment this morning at our delegation breakfast because some of our Hillary delegates were upset about our chanting during like historic moments and things like that, and it was really important to them. So what we decided to do was make signs with frowny faces and hold them up and then just chant between, so we're trying to be respectful. They took those signs, and within like 3 minutes they all these homemade Hillary Clinton supportive signs appeared all over the place, and we went to the exact same person who took our signs and said, hey, they have homemade signs as well. Then they were supposed to be prohibited, and they said those were okay because the Clinton campaign approved it. This was before the vote. So apparently the Clinton campaign is in charge of what is supposed to be a democratic process where we have rules and we have an equal vote. So that's what happened.
And is that what drove you to come to this protest?
Oh, I am driven to come to this protest because I think that Hillary Clinton is not the best way for us to beat Donald Trump and to move forward in this country. The best person is to beat Trump and to unify this party and to unify this country is in the Democratic Convention, and we can nominate him and we can unify and we can make this world a better place, and they don't want that, and it is so frustrating. So I have to speak out.
Okay. So is there any point at which if Hillary Clinton has won, you would say, well, we gave it our best shot, but she won?
Well, I'm in a really interesting position in West Virginia because, as you know, West Virginia won all 55 counties. In fact, in one county, Mingo County, Hillary Clinton came in 3rd place. That's interesting, isn't it?
Who came in second?
Oh, Paul Farrell, I think. And Bernie had in 17 counties, even though Trump was unopposed at the time, Bernie had more votes in 17 counties than Donald Trump. So in West Virginia, and people are very upset with Hillary Clinton over a poll and stuff. So in West Virginia, there's zero way that Hillary can win in West Virginia. In fact, Senator Manchin told us at our breakfast this morning that he knows that Trump will win West Virginia. So I can freely vote for whoever I want to. If we could even get a movement behind Jill Stein, we could move the progressive movement. And in fact, if the Clinton campaign was really, really smart, they would come to us and work with us on getting their Democrats onto Jill Stein. It would help move the progressive movement, and it would inadvertently help the Clinton campaign because we could potentially keep 5 electoral votes from Donald Trump, 5 that she'll never get. So I'm interested in going back, if she ends up being the nominee, I'm interested in having a conversation with Clinton people and my West Virginia Democratic Party about developing a coalition to move our progressive movement forward.
So one of your issues is that Bernie Sanders won all 55 counties, but Hillary Clinton got 19 delegates and Bernie Sanders got 18.
Yeah, and on that point, I want to point out that we were told at our delegate breakfast this morning that if we were not in our West Virginia area, that our vote would not be counted. We had to vote, this morning. We had to pick who we wanted instead of have a vote. But our delegate chairperson, who is also our state executive person, told us that if we were not in the West Virginia area, that our vote would not be counted. I contacted the Bernie Sanders campaign and asked them if that was correct. They said yes. It was almost time for the vote, and 2 of our superdelegates were not present, Senator Manchin and Governor Tomlin. I went to our state chair and I said, I think the vote is now has went down, 17 for Hillary, 18 for Bernie, because those 2 delegates weren't there. And she said it doesn't matter. Senator Manchin is in the building somewhere, and Governor Tomlin signed it this morning. And I said, but you told us this, and she said it doesn't matter. In fact, I have it on video.
Okay, I got you. And so one of the organizers outside explained that one of the main reasons for this protest was because of the superdelegate situation. Yes, they have less votes now, but you guys don't want them to have any votes. Is that correct?
We, in West Virginia, what we did, we passed a resolution asking that in future years, that the people that they have listed as superdelegates would have to pledge before we picked our state delegates, and then whatever the proportionality of the state ends up being, that So they can pick whoever they want to, but then that may mean that we would get more of one candidate or the other. So I'm not wanting to eliminate those people. I just want their vote to be pledged and it end up being proportional to the state. That's what our recommendation was, which passed unanimously in West Virginia.
Okay. Can I ask? No problem. Thank you. Can I ask what brings you here?
Yes, absolutely. There comes a time that once you push the people to a point where it's overwhelmingly unfair, when it's painfully apparent that our voice is not heard, but it is squelched. There's so many levels that this is, it's not just one thing. It's, let's take it from the whole primary. Those of us in the streets, we know who won those primaries.
We're going to go help the Black Lives Matter protest.
Hi, I just wanted to real quick say that, everything everybody's saying, yes. I also want to just tell people that on my Facebook page, I shared a live video of party leader John Hanna putting his hands on me and pushing me off the stage. We need a clean house. These are not the kind of people that should be representing us. Please share the video, Shawnee Badger. This needs to be seen. Party leaders should not be putting their hands on people that they disagree with and pushing them. California, John Hanna.
Okay. Sir? I'm a Bernie Sanders delegate from Boise, Idaho, and I back Bernie Sanders because he backed our vets. About 3 years ago, they were cutting out our positions for our programs, and all these young guys coming back, all our young brothers coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan, we're going to get shut out of our programs by the Republicans. And it was Bernie Sanders who came to our rescue and got our programs refunded. And I back him, he backs us, and that's why I'm here. I'm Bill Sifford from Boise, Idaho, or from McCall, Idaho.
Okay.
And thank you for sharing Thank you for always reporting the true news.
Yeah,
it's
we
an
actually
honor.
do real news. Real news for people.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. I assume you're from the great state of Hawaii.
And aloha from Hawaii. Mike Angelides, alternate delegate for Bernie Sanders. And we're here to end oligarchy. That's the game plan. So I'll vote for whoever the most progressive candidate is in November, whoever that may be.
I sent you a press release about this.
Okay. Can you talk to me about it now? Or?
We need to have our spokeswoman, Shyla Nelson, speak to...
She's outside. Jordan's talked to her.
We are going to peacefully disperse to rejoin the Black Lives Matter movement in solidarity with them.
Are they outside?
They're back in the convention.
This is the problem.
So, and Black Lives Matter is doing a protest inside the convention right now?
That is what I understand, so we would like to peacefully disperse to be able to rejoin them in solidarity. We'd like to rejoin them in solidarity if the DNC will allow it, so we will peacefully disperse at this point.
You're peacefully dispersing, and then you're going to go back inside.
In solidarity with Black Lives Matter.
And we're going to see what the police reaction is as you guys do that.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I talk to you, sir?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. I am here because I do not accept the results of the election. I am very aware of all the election fraud. Many states, I'm from Hawaii, and our election, our presidential preference poll.
Hold on, guys. Hold on. Keep going.
Our presidential preference poll was accurate. However, in California, the no party preference voters, mostly young people, their votes, many of them were not counted. Many entire dorms were not counted. They were all given provisional ballots. That's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in California. In New York, many thousands, 125 in Brooklyn alone, were purged from the voter rolls. In Arizona, many people were not allowed to vote because their party was switched or the polls were shut down. Puerto Rico, same thing. So I believe that if you took all of the voter fraud, all of the election fraud, the voter suppression, and you put it together, you would not have the results that supposedly there is now. There would not be a 300 delegate difference. It would possibly be even or even Sanders on the top. So I walked out because I do not accept the results of this nomination.
All right, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And what's your name?
Netra Halperin, N-E-T-R-A, Halperin, H-A-L-P-E-R-I-N, delegate from Hawaii.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's what I was talking about right there before we switched. direction of the camera. So I don't know if you're aware of the lawyers that are doing the lawsuit in California.
Yes.
So it was delivered to me the other night, the actual tangible report, and I have it. I would like to send it to you.
Okay.
These are statisticians that have done all of the numbers, and at 2%, any irregularity of any election is to be null and void. Some of these, which is in upwards of maybe 16, go up to 38% in irregularity. So what the lady just said is absolutely accurate. What led to this, ultimately, the past few days with the VP pick of someone who obviously is, you know, a right to work person. It's definitely someone that is just saying blatantly that it's a slap in the face to any of us who hold progressive ideas. It's showing us that indeed our feeling about her not really truly being with us and for our ideas, it's just a window into what we could expect if she indeed became president, not to mention Nate Silver and his poll having her losing too much of a percentage for us to be comfortable. So Bernie Sanders is the only one who has consistently beat Trump in the polls. And if we don't want Trump, Bernie is the only option that we should take.
And what's your name?
Tambourine Morelli.
Nice to meet you.
We were Democracy Spring jailbirds together.
Oh, yeah. All right, good to see you.
Good
Thank
to see you, man.
Okay, guys.
I'm going to get back to the show now because we cover all aspects. We cover these protests, and we're also going to cover the speeches. We got to do the play-by-play. These guys are going to head out based on what the organizers. They're going to head out and try to get back into the arena. I don't know if they'll be able to. They're going to try to join the Black Lives Matter protest that's happening inside. So I don't know what the police reaction to that is going to be. I don't know to what degree they're going to be allowed back in, to what degree they're going to be allowed to disperse or to exit. So obviously we've got a couple of Facebook live streams here, YouTube live. So we'll try to keep an eye out on both the protests, and I'm going to keep this going, but I'm going to head back to YouTube to do the rest of the show. So here, take a look here at the protests.
Did you know that 300 DNC volunteers who are Bernie Sanders supporters yesterday afternoon were denied their credentials by the DNC?
How many?
300. 300 of them. They were
delegates or supporters?
Volunteers who were trained on Sunday to be volunteers as ushers, basically help people get to their delegates, get to their seats. They were denied their credentials until 6 p.m. They were given credentials after the gavel hit.
Okay, and so that's one of the reasons you came out?
Yes.
And what would those guys have done?
What's that?
What would those guys have done?
They were ushers. Basically, they helped the delegates and the press on the floor, the DNC floor, and in the aisles.
Okay. And what's your name?
Eric Reynolds.
Eric, let me ask you one last question. What could the Democratic Party do for you to say, okay, well, that was pretty good, and now I'm back on board, or at least not doing a protest?
They would have to basically have a press conference to apologize to the Bernie Sanders and the delegates for everything that they have done in order to deter us from doing what we need to do.
So the Democratic Party put out a statement saying that they apologized. Were you not buying it, or did you see it? What was your take on it?
I'd like to have a full press conference. I'd love to see Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz personally apologize on camera.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Sure. Anna covering it. Small protesters around this area.
And the king sent back
Jake Turks. Some of the press, some of the protesters.
consequence. You know, hopefully if it was done in the mainstream media had always or said.
Let me see this sign real quick. Congress 2.0. For the moment being, this is a very, very, very calm protest. I mean, that about sums up that protest, this protest right there. And the cops are also very calm. Nobody's taking any drastic action. So let's hope it stays that way. And there's no reason for this to you know, end poorly. And I think right now that this is a perfectly good protest, point made. And I'm going to hand it off to Aaron here to tape the rest of it.
You know, we don't have to appeal to you, right? I mean, you cover all of the issues. So, yeah, you know, we came here because nobody listens to us, but you listen to us. So thank you for always listening.
I feel clean. I feel like I've had a shower. I know.
I do too.
Right?
Can't breathe even.
Look, do you have any shots from outside or no?
She's going to be giving a statement on why they did this.
She's now talking with police. Of her name, but she gave a rousing nomination speech for Bernie Sanders. I got on like
They said that they believe the protesters are going to make a statement, but there are many, many press surrounding them right now, and then they will be allowed to leave. Multiple protesters and organizers have told me we want to get back in the Wells Fargo Center where the convention is taking place, where the floor is, so that they can see the mothers of the African American women, children, so we're right now just waiting to see what's going on. These protesters have said they want These are sort of large tents where the media have these curtained off workspaces. Across the street there, you can actually see the Wells Fargo Center. So the convention is all in front of it. That's where the speeches are. And then reporters have this meeting on this is all within the secure perimeter. So all of these protesters here have credentials to access the convention.
I can't argue with nonsense. What did Bernie Sanders Some people think that Occupy has too many organizations.
Reporters are being allowed to leave, but they are not being allowed to re-enter. I overheard some
And we believe it's the DNC.
Why don't we get a phone that
Let's go get a charger. Let's go
okay, I'm just gonna find out. It took me a while to get through. So
Jeff, they might not allow